John Boehner on TV over the weekend saying, yeah, that whole thing about the debt limit and how that could bring on a financial apocalypse, not buying it, not going to budge. Watch.
But I take it from your answer that you're not prepared to schedule a clean vote on government funding right now.
There are not the votes in the House to pass a clean CR. There's no way we're going to pass when the votes are not in the House to pass a clean debt limit. We are not going to pass a clean debt limit increase.
So under no circumstances will you pass a clean debt limit?
We are not going down that path.
So there's no change in your position?
Absolutely not.
But
I'm a reasonable guy. I'm a reasonable guy.
You are not a reasonable guy, nor do business leaders believe that, and that's why the Republican Party might be in some trouble here. Those absolutist position on the debt limit is sheer insanity. Now, don't take my word for it. Take Bloomberg's word for it. They had an interesting story where they talked to a lot of people working on Wall Street, former Republicans, current Republicans, etc. Tim Bitzberger is a former Treasury official for George W. Bush. No one's liberal, obviously. He says, if we miss an interest payment, that would blow Lehman out of the water, referring to the financial collapse in 2008, started off by Lehman going under. He said, if you like 2008, wait till you get a load of the financial Armageddon we would have if we missed a debt payment. Okay, now you have to understand something. The U.S. Treasuries saying we're not going to pay them. Again, it's not new debt. It's not a new budget. It's not arguing over whether we should spend more money. It's will we pay the money we already owe? We owe over $1 trillion to China, $1 trillion to Japan, let alone what we owe the American people, who also are very invested in Treasury bonds as well. If we say we're not making our payments, that sets off a series of dominoes. Now, look, Wall Street loves to do a lot of fear-mongering so that you then give them bailout money, etc. This is not one of those situations. They're right. It does set off dominoes, and there's no need for it. And there's no bailout money going to Wall Street. All it is regular course of business. We owe this much money. Are you going to pay it? Well, of course we should pay it, unless you're a bunch of deadbeats. And if you don't pay it, well, again, these ramifications ensue. Here's Jim Grant explaining. He's the founder of Grant's Interest Rate Observer. People have typically turned to Treasuries as a safe haven. But what will happen when they realize it's not safe anymore? Financial markets are all confidence-based. If that confidence is shaken, you have a disaster. Here's Simon Johnson, former chief economist for the International Monetary Fund. The government wouldn't have the cash to rescue the banks this time either. So, oops. Here's Mohammed El Arian. He's the CEO of PIMCO. They're an absolutely critical player in the market. It would undermine the role of the U.S. in the world economy. Great. More good news. What else? Here is Bill Isaac, chairman of the Cincinnati-based Fifth Third Bank Corp., which of course is the funniest name for a bank in America. It would create chaos in the financial markets. Warren Buffett. It should be like nuclear bombs, basically too horrible to use. Nonetheless, as you just heard from the Republican leader in the House, it appears they are fully ready to use those financial nuclear bombs, saying, yeah, we ran up this debt, we don't want to pay it anymore. We want to do a government shutdown till we get our way. On issues we've already legislatively lost on, over and over again. Who cares? We're going to hold our breath and stomp our feet. And if it means a worldwide financial collapse, well, we don't really believe in the government anyway. So then the anarchist party, now called the Republican Party in America, would win. Now, a lot of their donors are not happy about that. So I don't suspect that John Boehner is telling the truth. I think they will give in. I think what they're doing is what they've always done, hold hostages until the Democrats panic, because the Democrats are also funded by the bankers and large corporations who don't want any piece of this. And the Democrats give them some sort of concession. Maybe it's the grand bargain, maybe it's to cut Social Security or Medicare. They've played this game before. If John Boehner gets his way by threatening to do this, there is no end to the hostage taking. Every debt limit, every continuing resolution to fund the government will be challenged as they take more and more hostages, trying to get more and more concessions for fights that they lost in previous budget battles and normal course of business. Because the Republicans don't believe in the normal course of business, and accordingly might destroy the regular course of business in the real world.